All right, thank you for staying with Kenya's Choice 2022. Let's start off with some petitions that are coming up and have a quick conversation with one Derek Kuto, the President, Kenya Judges and Magistrates Association, joining us online. Good morning, it's good to see you and thanks for making time for us, Derek. Now, how ready are your members to handle any of the petitions that may come up?
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you for having me on Citizen this morning. I would say that our members are ready and raring to go. Our members have been adequately trained.
Yeah.
We've had a whole committee, the Judicial Committee on Elections, and our members have been trained on all the necessary procedures and all the provisions under the Elections Act, regulations, and the Constitution of Kenya. So I would say that our members are ready to go, and the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya has set off. I would say that it has given out the baton, and we are ready to take up from where they have just begun.
Derek, it's interesting that you mentioned the Supreme Court. We know that that case is done there. Will it have a bearing on all the other petitions? Because the Supreme Court gave IEBC, for example, a clean bill of health. Yeah,
what I would say is, you see, the Supreme Court is, the apex court. And while we all wait to have a detailed judgment from that court, you notice that there were broad issues that the Supreme Court set out to make a determination on. And all other courts in the Republic of Kenya are bound by the Supreme Court. So on the specific issues, if you remember, there were issues to do with scrutiny and recount. On those specific issues, the Supreme Court is binding on all the other courts. So I guess everyone will be waiting to see on a specific determination on those issues, and definitely they will be binding on all the other courts in this country.
Can other courts then go against what the Supreme Court has said?
No. They cannot go against that, because you see, the Supreme Court is apex court. It settles all determinations of law and the Constitution. I see once the Supreme Court has made a determination, that is the law of the land, and only the Supreme Court can sit and depart from their own determination. Otherwise, as it stands, all courts are bound by the determination of the Supreme Court of Kenya.
Yeah, but the Supreme Court really just talks about the presidential petition. What about the other categories that are not within the jurisdiction? Gubernatorial, member of parliament, MCA positions. Would that change?
If you look at, this is not the first time that the Supreme Court is making a determination on a number of things. You remember that we have had petitions before, not just the presidential petition, and you see in its determination, the Supreme Court will be making, a comment on a number of issues. And I've given an example. For example, there was an issue on recount and scrutiny, and if you recall, there was even a report that was filed in the Supreme Court, and it was mentioned in the judgment. Those are specific issues that will also come up when the various courts make a determination on the various seats, gubernatorial, senatorial, women rep, members of parliament. There are all issues that will come up, and we'll be very keen to see how the Supreme Court has made a determination on that, and they will all be binding to the other courts.
All right. But election petitions tend to be time-bound now. So will the other matters suffer?
Okay, thank you so much, Trevor. And as rightly observed by yourself, the framers of the Constitution and the Election Act were specific on timely determination of election disputes. I will say that it will not make the other matters suffer, for a number of reasons. Number one, our members are well aware that these matters are time-bound, and of course, they will have to have a delicate balancing act And we all understand that not everybody will be dealing with the petitions. Like for the petition for the matters of the gubernatorial National Assembly, you know that the Honorable the Chief Justice will gazette specific judges to determine those petitions. So there will be others who will be left. Again, we also note that the Judicial Service Commission will be embarking on recruitment of more judges. And I think I can see it's quite a packed schedule. So we expect that probably before the end of this year, we need to have more judges so they can be, you know, they can increase the force within the bench, on the bench.
Yeah, approximately, as the association president, how many would be needed? Because this has always been a conversation in terms of the numbers of judges required.
Okay. It's now in the public domain that the Judicial Service Commission will be recruiting 20 judges. But I know there's room to have more judges. Of course, people out there want their disputes done and sorted out at the earliest time so that people are able to know whatever determination has been made on their matter. So I would say that let's get the 20, then we see what happened. We can assess ourselves with the 20 that is there, and then we see what can happen after that.
Okay. And we've also seen that election matters outside of Nairobi usually are filed here. Is there going to be a difference this time around, or most people will still come back to the capital center?
What I will say is the petitions this time around will be filed on by e-filing. There will be an e-filing platform. And once that is done, the Honorable the Chief Justice, like I said, will gazette judges to hear those matters. They will not necessarily be filed in Nairobi. They will be assigned high courts with jurisdiction, just next or rather close to where the matter has been filed. But of course, in exceptional circumstances, the CJA has power to gazette any high court to deal with any matter from any side, because high court judges, they have jurisdiction across the whole country. But matters will be filed and there will be assigned judges from around where they have been filed. So we don't really expect that matters will be filed in Nairobi. We have high courts across the country.
In your own assessment, how effective has this e-filing platform been? Because during the presidential petition, we saw some complaints from lawyers that sometimes it took a bit more, it took longer to file this.
I would say generally it has really improved access to justice, but like you will note, not every system is 100% effective. But on a balance of probability, I would say that it's quite impressive. It has assisted access to justice. But I guess that the ICT of the judiciary will consider whatever was raised by the lawyers and other actors, so that then they can improve on them, so that when we begin the other petitions, then we can improve on any issue that was raised. I mean, we can better what we already have. But on generally, we can say that it was a fair system, and we hope that we can improve on the same.
Yeah, as we finish on this, Derek, going forward, should the petitions be filed before the swearing in? Because then you're dealing with the particular category elect, either governor-elect, MP-elect, but now all of them are going to be sworn in by Thursday. Wouldn't it have been easier if the petitions were filed before the swearing in?
You see, the Constitution, the Constitution and the Elections Act, they have given specific timelines. I don't know what party will choose, as long as they are within the timelines. for example, the Constitution has said that those petitions be filed within 28 days after the declaration of the results. And now you see, we cannot choose for any party, for any person, as long as they are within the timelines given by the Constitution and the Elections Act.
All right, and your closing remarks on this, Derek? For everybody who's thinking of coming to the courts with their petition, what should they be thinking about? What should they consider?
They're home and dry. The courts are raring to go. People, the petitioners, respondents, they will all get justice in our courts. Our members are ready, guided by the law. We are governed by the rule of law and constitutionalism. So we invite members to come to our courts, and our members are ready to dispose of their petitions within record time.
What kind of evidence will they require? Because we had the Supreme Court talking about the evidentiary threshold.
Okay. You see, again, I would say that even as we wait for the detailed judgment from the Supreme Court, but the courts have said that in election matters, the evidential threshold is just above balance of probability, but not beyond any reasonable doubt. Yeah. So ordinarily, I would say that you see, the Supreme Court has set the bar very high, and he who wishes to challenge an election result, then you really have to table cogent evidence before the court, before the will of the people in various electoral units can be interfered with by the court. So for those who want to come to court, then you really want to look at your case and see what you have. You want to look at the witnesses that you have and what you want to table before the court, because you know that the courts will insist, not just on allegations, but on evidence before it.
All right. Derek, thank you so much for making time. Derek Kuto, there, President of Kenya Judges and Magistrates Association, speaking to us from Accra, Ghana there, saying that they're ready for any petition that may come their way. All right. So we're taking a quick break. When we come back, we're talking about what lies ahead, not about the petitions anymore, in terms of the entry of the president-elect and what he needs to focus on. I see here on the front page of the Daily Nation, there's a scramble for the hustler cake. There was the other side on the Standard, there's inside Ruto's government. At the same time, there's also Azimio's bigwig stare at life in the cold. That is still on the Standard as well. And we'll also talk about the IEBC commissioners, all right? They now agree with the chairperson. Commissioner Danvas Makori is here, NCIC, and also Kawiva Wambua, who's the Deputy CEO in Nuka Trust, right? That conversation starting in just a bit. We'd like to hear from you as well. At Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Kenya's Choice 2022. See you shortly.